All right, we are live. We're ready to go. We got a good group in here today. We're going to mix it up a little bit. If you don't know Mike McCann, I don't think you're in the real estate business. So we got Mike today and myself. And what we're going to be talking to you guys about is basically how you guys can build a long-term, enjoyable, profitable real estate business. And I want to mix it up today with Mike and myself. And we're actually going to tell you what we've done well and actually what we have made mistakes on. And today's should be basically to help you guys understand the right way to build a long-term profitable business. And Mike, so I just want to kick it off with you. How are you doing today, man?
Fantastic. The sun is shining and it's a beautiful day.
I love it.
Don't let it get away, as U2, my favorite band, sings.
So how much business do you guys normally do a year?
About 300 plus million and about 700 and some transactions.
Okay. And how long you been doing it?
33 years. I'm the senior member.
I love it, man. So I've been doing it about 17 years. I had a team that was doing almost 200 units a year. I've managed about $3 billion in business. I've met over 3,000 people. So I understand how to build a profitable business for myself and our people. Mike and I have multiple streams of income. And today what I want to talk to you guys first off is I want to kick it off a little differently. A lot of times it's us in there. We're giving you motivation. We're giving you tips. We're giving you advice. And we're telling you like everything that works right. I'm going to flip it today. Mike and I are going to start off by talking to you about what mistakes we've made over our time. Mike says he's never made a mistake.
I'm blessed.
So basically the first thing I want to kick off is if you have any questions, I have a question tab on the comments tab. If you want to comment, please comment. We'll answer your questions today. It's going to be very interactive. If you work at KW Philly, you know you get this on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. If you don't work at KW Philly and you want to get more out of your real estate business, you need to talk to me. We'll drop my contact information here. Alyssa, if you can drop my contact information, you can set up a one-on-one appointment on Zoom with me and Mike maybe at a different time and see if we can help you at your current brokerage or see if there's a fit over here. So the first question I have for you, Mike, is what mistakes do you think you have made in not hiring people quick enough? Do you believe that you hired and leveraged a person up front? So you built your real estate business. How much business were you doing when you hired your first person?
About 3.5 million. And just real briefly on that is I did 90 transactions in 1988 by myself without an assistant. I took a course at Temple because you didn't have Google and all that stuff. And Alan Dom was the teacher. And he said to me, Mike, if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. Alan Dom had just been the #1 real estate person in America. And so I listened to him. So I had 3.5 million. I had a wife and 2 children, just bought a $43,000 house. I wasn't making a whole lot of money. 3.5 million back then, because you only got 50% commission, with 90 deals, was average price about 43,000. So I was making about 45,000 a year. So what I did real briefly is I saved up 3 months of pay, and I hired my neighbor in 1989. And I said, I need help. And my friend said, you're a control freak. You're never going to be able to hire anybody up here. The only reason I was a control freak is if I didn't do it, no one did it. So I hired her, but I had the money in the bank. And I said, this 3 months might be a long-term job, or it might run out because I'm self-employed. I don't have any more money than 3 months. That year, Jeremy, I made an extra $40,000. And that was a dramatic amount of money in 1989, 90.
So hold on one second. Stop right there. This is, I've met a lot of people across the country. I've had multiple people leverage too. I want to see what your number comes out to. How much more money did you make?
An additional $40,000.
And what did it cost you?
About $22,000.
So you doubled your money. So listen, everybody, you double to triple your money. So in life, when you understand that you can employ a person, give them a better life, and you can benefit, it's called a win-win. In Mike's case, he took a dollar amount and doubled it. I normally have seen people double to triple their numbers. And if the people he's talking about, Alan Dom himself, there's a book called The Billion Dollar Office. and a $1 billion agent, $1 billion agent. And it interviews all these agents across the country. The common thread is what Mike just dropped as a golden nugget. You double or triple your business. Now watch this. Golf courses just opened up. Who's on the golf course right now? If you're watching this, I'm sorry if I'm about offending. The next comment is this. Financial advisors, insurance guys and girls. My brother's a financial advisor. He's not in a golf course. But these people, there's nothing wrong with them. We give them our money. They're strangers. We assume that they're working for our money. They are, but they're also enjoying their life too. And the question you have to ask yourself is this, what Mike just said. Do you want to bet on yourself or do you want to bet on another person? Mike, why did you bet on yourself and double down? Because that's what you did. You could easily gave that money to someone else, to 20-some thousand bucks, but you doubled down yourself. Why did you do that?
There's nothing better to invest in than the education of yourself and people. We are the people we surround ourselves with. And mine was a desire to learn, grow, and succeed in the business. And believe me, I was not Mike McCann, a real estate man then. I wasn't socially contacted. Nobody knew who I was. And I had a hard time, like I didn't even feel like I belonged. But I just took courses and invested in myself. And I got my education from outside of the market from more successful people. And like my vacuum cleaner sales trainer taught me when I sold vacuum cleaners, she said, if he can do it, you can do it. Is he better than you? Am I better than anybody here? Absolutely not. Am I smarter? Absolutely not. So that's what I looked at, the top people, and I said, if they can do it, I can do it.
So as we get older, Mike, did you ever notice there's a common thread that when you're sitting at the beach or you're doing something relaxing, the majority of time, a person has not made their wealth off their financial advisor. The majority of the time, they've not made their money off something else. It's normally themselves. It's normally a business that they're involved in. Maybe it's real estate investing. It's something that they have done. And one of the things I've realized is people need to understand they need to be betting on themselves, not betting on strangers. They're very easy to put 15% to a 401k. To some company you don't know. They're willing to do this. I'm not saying don't do that stuff. Why are humans normally slower to bet on themselves? And what I've found is it's either unknowns or confidence level. Over the years of you seeing people do it, what would you tell the group today why they should be betting on themselves if they're doing over X business?
Well, there's two things. There's another thing Alan Dom taught me at Temple. He said, you make a living selling real estate, you build wealth owning real estate. And I saw a person in 1989, 90, I showed him a property and I'm like, this guy can't afford it. I found out he started buying single family homes when he was like 20 and he was like 39, 40, retired. He took me down to his boat. He lived in South Philly. He took me down to his boat. His boat was the size of a block. He retired because he started buying single family homes in Pennsport, Passyunk Square, blue collar neighborhoods, and he got them paid off in 10, 12 years. And he was living off of that. So I went home and I said to my wife, we're buying a home every year. And so in the early days, I would have to bring partners in because I didn't have the cash to buy. All my team knows, you try to buy one home a year. At a certain point, you can do it yourself if you start to build enough wealth. Nothing is more important than that, but investing in myself, having the confidence. So most people, they don't have confidence in themselves, and that might be why that they don't do it. But no one's going to give you anything. We can help you here. You can listen, but if you don't want it and you don't invest in yourself, you really can't do it to the next level.
So check this out. See what you think of this. I believe why some people don't do it is lack of confidence, fear of failure, and fear of success. The last one most people do not talk about. And I've coached a lot of people. They fear what's going to come with it. It's going to be more challenges. I'm going to do more business. How am I going to manage my life? I'm going to have to cut something else in my life. They fear these things, right? The best thing you can do as an individual is face your fears. What's the worst thing that's going to happen, Mike? If you and I lose everything and we bet on ourselves, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
I'll be back where I started. Listen, my biggest fear was I never wanted to be poor. my whole life. So my fear was, I don't care what I have to do. I am going to just do it and do it. And when I got in real estate, I learned that everybody cooperates. And so I said to myself, or it's a cooperating business, most people cooperate. I said, I want to have the best reputation in the marketplace. I want to become the most knowledgeable in the marketplace. And I'm going to work the hardest. Today I say work the hardest / smartest.
Yep.
Those are 3 fundamentals that don't go away. If you love this business, you passionately invest in yourself and people to help support you as you grow. But I will tell you, Jeremy, being successful, if I could call, you compare yourself with yourself. Because where I grew up, my friends, I'm like the #1 successful guy, but I don't compare myself to them. Because if I did, I could say, oh, I'm this. But if I compare myself to Gary Keller, I'm a loser. So you compare yourself to yourself. Am I doing better this week, today, tomorrow, next week than I am every year? And that's where you have growth. My growth has always been slow and steady. I always joke, I never sold my first $500,000 house for 10 years in the business. I didn't make 6 figures till 8 or 9 years in the business. I see young people making it today in 2 or 3 years. The business is so much easier today. Trust me.
All right, let's talk about this. Let's be raw. What mistakes have you and I talk about this? What mistakes have we made or things that we would do differently again with hiring help? Mine was me interviewing people. Most good salespeople are horrible at hiring administrative help. Second was me training them and popping in and popping out when I want. Setting up the communication. So now on Mondays, we meet at the same time. We have a coaching call, same time every Monday. Most human beings just want to know what they're getting into. So the 2 mistakes I made were those: is popping in, popping out when I want to, right? Setting those expectations correctly. Now by having that, we're not having as much issues as I did when I started off and hired 3 assistants back in 06, 07, right? What's some of the mistakes that you made that you would probably change again?
Yeah, I was thinking that when you said you were going to ask me mistakes. I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful for everything, so nothing was a mistake. But if I look back, my friend said, oh, my buddy opened up a real estate office. I worked for a real estate company the first 6 years that didn't sell real estate. They did property management of slumlord properties. I was in the basement at 433 Bainbridge Street, and the guy gave me a Coles book and a phone. So I had to learn everything by myself. So if I look back, I should have interviewed and checked and went with somebody that had some training and other agents to follow up to. But, I always say, if you're given something, it's not as valuable as if you earned it. So I don't want to regret that at all, because within my first full year in the business, I was the #1 in transactions, but that was because I was determined and I invested. But if I had the tool book today, if I had a Jeremy Barrett, if I had the training of a Keller, the system, there was no roadmap. I had to learn everything myself. So it was slow and steady, and I don't regret it. But today, I would have accelerated dramatically because I would have used the tools. Yep. You can learn this stuff, but you have to implement it. I do want to say one thing, because I've been listening to a million blogs on conversations, listening to all these top people. And I did hear something from Gary I really wanted to point out because it's really important today. And he said, to succeed in a market, you must know it, understand it, and take action. And that's what I did. No one knew me. So I said, I'm going to become the expired listing expert. No one knew who Stephen Glass Real Estate was, so I was never invited in. I would only go after troubled properties, and I learned how to grow from there. Today, right now, we need to understand that it's a changing market. We need to understand that market, and we need to take action and implement. We can't just learn it. We have to do something.
So that comes back to Gary Keller's book, One Thing, Mike, and I've seen this over the years. People try the people that don't get the success as much as they want, they try to be a generalist in everything instead of being a specialist and getting really good at one thing. Or you get really good at buyers, you get really good at listings, really good at luxury, whatever it is, figure out what that is and get really good at it. When you talked, I've helped a lot of people grow businesses quick in the city. I personally believe more than anybody in the last 10 years. And what I've done is I've realized what they are good at. Most new agents need to be door knocking. And right now you can't door knock. I know Kirby Sales was door knocking. I know I sold telecommunications door knocking. That is the number one thing that most people did to build a lead generation business. Today, people are asking some questions we're going to answer in a little bit. What do you do since you can't door knock? But I think if you look back at what you and I made mistakes on with hiring help, would you agree that you and I are not good at hiring admin staff?
110%. I love everybody. I love everybody. Yeah. Oh, you sound great. Okay. Listen, one of the secret tools that I had was incredible wife. So what she did, I'm sales, she's details. I love people. I want to be about, she put together a list, checklist, a listing checklist. What happens when I get a listing? A marketing checklist, an agreement of sale checklist. So when I hired that person in 1989-90, she came in and there were checklists. So I could be out on the street of functions that she performed. And that has grown. Today, we do use Lindsay, the last 4 support staff, we use Lindsay. With agents, that's different. I'm talking about administrative support staff. I always can't say her name. I'm horrible, but Lindsay Caprani.
Yeah.
Say it for me. But even when I was back at Berkshire, I used her for the last couple of years because she screens them and does that. We look at them on YouTube and then we bring them in. So my staff has been unbelievable. But it is very important. I am blessed. I do have one assistant 22 years, another one 19 years, another one 15 years. And then we have the newer ones. So I try to hire for life. And this is why I love Keller since I came over. Win-win or go home. That's always been my, Jim doesn't need me. I don't need Jim. But together we add up to 3, not 2. It's win-win. Same thing with my support staff. So I'm rambling. So
Alyssa's going to post on the comments page, Lindsay Cipriani, who's the majority of who we use to hire our staff. Alyssa's helped me right now. I knew she was the right fit. I got a referral from her, but I actually did a personality test with myself and a personality test with her to make sure we're a match. Think of Lindsay as a dating site. They're going to make sure you guys are a match. And what she does is she takes the resumes from 100 down to 3. And in that way, you guys can make a choice. So the number one thing that Mike and I want to drill home today on is if you guys are doing, Mike hired after $3 million, hired assistant. I believe in today's age, prices are higher. He had to do a lot of transactions, get to $3 million. I think when you're doing around $7 million, even $5 million, if you want to get aggressive, you should have an assistant, and your return on your assistant should be 2 to 3 times. And what
Jeremy,
Mike said, huh?
Let me just jump in. I think that's too far. I honestly, I was making $45,000, had a wife and 2 children, sole supporter, and I saved that money. And that was the biggest thing. If you just save up, it's like investing in yourself, a little bit of money. To me, I think you should be doing a 3 or 4 because what's beautiful about it is that they do the things that you don't want to do. And you hire somebody who has a brain of an engineer versus the brain of a salesperson.
Yep.
So I'm rambling.
Well, most people hire the same person, Mike. So you're right. So
yes.
I just know I have a hard enough time getting people. I see some people on here, they're going to smile in a second. The one guy's looking at me right now. I can see it. I have a hard enough time getting people to do it 5 to 7. In a perfect world, if they would do 3 to 4, I'd be ecstatic. The bigger question is, Jeremy, how often does a person hire an assistant and walk away from it? Mike, you and I spoke one time we spoke together many times, but the one time is the only time I heard a person saying, I shouldn't have hired an assistant. That's the only time I've really ever heard a person that says they shouldn't have hired an assistant. I've been doing this for many, many years. So if you guys are watching this, you're doing 3, 5, whatever you're doing, invest in yourself. All you need is 3 months. Okay. It's all you need is 3 months. And what's the worst that can happen? Guys, right now, and girls, this is the best time ever. Mike and I talked about this every day. This is the best time ever to find talent. People are tired of working for corporate America. They're tired of getting pushed over. I had conversations over the weekend that 2 weeks ago I had with companies. These people wouldn't even consider it in corporate America to get them out and get into the business. You know why? They're talented people and they're tired of it. They want to get into an entrepreneur model. So you guys, if you're watching this, why are you not investing in yourself and getting that return would be number one. What other mistakes would you say, Mike, that we did hiring. Training wise, we said is the second thing is, we as people training, you had another person help put up the checklist, right?
That is correct.
We have QW Command, we can put checklists in there and leverage it through pipelines, right? I still believe they should be using companies like Lindsay and people like that to help them with that. But as a human being, we have to think forward ahead that we have to put our assistant in a place of success and not move 100 miles per hour. You had your wife put those checklists together. If they don't have that luxury, as an agent, they have to put that in place. Otherwise, they're going to screw up like we did in the past where they're going to leave them, right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, and with me, I'm always out on the road. So my goal is to have at least 3 appointments a day. So my first assistant would just be in the office. And then she was good. It's funny. Yeah. So I had an assistant in the office, and a lot of people would start to use her as like, well, and using her as like office support. And then in 92, I hired my second assistant. I had 2 full-time assistants. And then in 92, my broker got in trouble. So I moved to Prudential Preferred Properties. And I went over there. And just so you know, because I invested in myself. In 89, I bought a laptop. It cost me $4,500. And then I had crazy. And I had land computers. When we moved to Prudential Preferred Properties, I was not the number one agent. I was number one in transactions, but not in GCI. They called me Mr. IBM because I came over with 2 assistants and two computers. And this was before buyer agency and all that stuff. But any top CEO or right on down has a great support person. You know, the nurse, their doctors are great.
Yep. My favorite example, Mike. My favorite example.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even know that. But the nurse is what does it. So they make me look good every day. Yep. And it's got to be win-win. Yeah, listen, in 11, 12, 13, it was so easy to hire people. When the unemployment was 4 or 5%, it was been brutal the last couple of years to hire people. You have to pay $10,000 more. Right now, you can hire good. There's so many people that have great abilities that they'll do your marketing. They'll send your expireds out. They'll fill your things in for the green sheets and all that stuff. I don't touch paperwork. I do not. I delegate. I need a listing agreement. I give them some information. They prepare it. I need comps for it. They prepare it. Agreement of sale. They send it all out. I don't touch it. Everything goes through me. But my goal is to do money-making activities. And that is meeting, talking, now Zooming with people.
So here's
I didn't even answer your question. What was your question?
Who knows? It's all good info. So here's the next one. Let's talk about. You and I discussed that we're going to talk about is mistakes hiring agents. I believe that most people bring agents on too quickly. Go to the doctor's office and find 3 doctors, no nurse, no assistant. It doesn't exist. If it does, they're going to crumble. If you have a team, you need to be leveraged on assistants first. And there's 2 options to go. One, just build out assistants. Okay, and you do what you want to do. I've seen the model, it works good. I know people have 3 assistants, they make $1 million a year, they stay in their lanes. Assistants are going to stay a lot longer than agents do on teams. I personally love the model. I've actually figured out during the coronavirus, you'll get 3 times your return on that compared to going heavy on agents. The other option I like too is a person wants to hire admin staff and then bring on agents, right? But the key mistake I see people making sometimes is they bring on people first, right? So what is your ratio? Because listen, I've never seen anybody get requested more to be on a team ever in the real estate game as you, and you have to turn them down. What do you like your ratio to be?
Yeah, as competitive as I am, as much as I love, I never said I want to be number one or I cared about that. What I wanted to do was provide a good living for my family, and I enjoy the business. I only bring people on when there's a need. Basically, when my team can't handle all the leads that are coming in. I have $20, $30 million producers want to join my team, and this person and that person. Most of the people that have joined my team, I would say, so I have 22 agents now. I have 7 support staff, and then some of my agents have support staff. It adds up to 11, actually. 10 or 11 we have on our team, support staff. So if you figure 22 agents and really 10 or 11, it's almost, we're heavy. But when I only brought people on agents, so I see people come, 2 agents or 3 agents join up. Absolutely not. What I need to offer to someone is support, leads, and motivation. My goal in hiring someone as an agent is what's in their again. I'm a Keller. Keller is my system. He got it from me. No, it's it's family and then business. That is our first priority. So I want people that are going to be that want to succeed, that want to grow as people, that are going to be nice chemistry for our team, that are going to work hard. I mean, no one works harder than me, and I'm more critical of myself than I am.
I will verify that, dude. I thought I was a worker, dude. I love it. Dude. You and I were sending stuff back at night. I was like, dude, this guy's crazy, just like that.
But it's not working. It's what I love. It's what I love to do.
It's a passion. It's a passion.
It's what I love to do. Yep. And it's funny, as you get older, after you can feed your family, when you can house your family, and you have a little bit, the next thing you want to start early is you want to help people. And that's even when I was a $2 million agent, I would help a lot of people. But bottom line is you want to hire somebody that wants to succeed and grow. And I hire for life. That's really what I do, because 1 and 1 is 3. I give them more than I take. So when they come in, they're getting leads, they're getting incredible support staff. They just have to, as I say, what's the name of that company, Nike? They just have to just do it.
Rich, did you hire an admin yet? I'm watching him on here. We're going to call him out. Yeah. Rich, yes or no? Did you hire one? Mike, we got to talk to him after.
It's scary. You're on mute, Rich.
Right.
What'd you say? Okay.
I literally had a contract sent out to me from Lindsay, and then the city shut down, and then my business went down to half. So I'm still talking to her.
Keep going, dude. Just keep making the decision.
I was in the mode. I was in the mindset.
Anytime we overthink something, we don't do it. Mike and I will verify this. That's one of the things that we regret in life. Just bet on yourself. I don't care if the world's coming in. You got to bet on yourself right now. There's so many things an assistant can be doing during this coronavirus time for you guys.
All right.
All right. All right. So I'm going to call you later today if you don't have one with Lindsay.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. So again, so it's really what's their goal in life? What's their thing? Now, listen, I have 8 agents with me, 20. More than half my team's been with me a decade, 10 to 20 years. And people's lives change. So if somebody has a child, they want to be home for a year, that's fine. I don't have minimum conditions. What I have is when you're working and you get leads, that you are professional, you follow up. Because I invest a lot of money into the business. I invest a lot of money in needs the various ways that I do. I just need to make sure I have quality people that follow up on them. And I want people that grow. I love watching agents grow.
What's your ratio, Mike, again, did you say? I want to make sure everybody got that. Is it 3 to 1, 4 to 1, admin to people? What is it?
So we have, let's call it 11 support staff and 22 agents.
2 to 1.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. So 2 to
and
1.
We're talking hardworking. They eat lunch at their desk. But they have a family thing. They can go home. We're all about family, hard work. They'll work on the weekends if need be. We try to have them not work on the weekends. But if I need stuff, they'll do it. But they're committed to the business. I'm committed to them. 1 and 1 is 3, and they have to be able to grow emotionally and financially too. I love, and like I said to my staff, nobody's getting laid off. I don't care what happens. I don't care if we don't sell a home for another year. You guys are employed. I saved your money.
So if anybody's watching this, if you're trying to debate if you should be hiring people during the coronavirus, double down. This is when money is made. I made a lot of money in the last real estate market by buying real estate. I bought 3 houses during the coronavirus. They're not sold yet. They're under contract. I got great deals. In life, when everybody's scrambling from one way, go on in. And this is the time right now for you guys to be investing and doubling down in your business. We're going to pivot a little bit, and we're going to answer some people's questions. Before we do that, let's get a little bit more raw. That's business. We've understood now they need to hire people, right? They need to hire staff first to leverage their business. We've said that. Second is they need to be hiring people after 3 million, 5 million, that range. They need to be investing in themselves. Third, they need to be doubling down on their personal self. Someone said invest in yourself, don't invest in others. I believe in that. What mistakes, let's share some of our mistakes that we've made on this topic of building a long and durable, profitable real estate business. I don't know about you. I got heavy. I still would like to lose a little bit more weight, but I lost 40 pounds when I was building a team. And one of the things I realized is I didn't make my priorities, right? My priority was only the team, and I just fed myself crap, gained weight, found tennis, lost it again, and now I've been competing in these tennis tournaments for the nationals. What I found was you got to feed your brain. There's two sides to a brain, emotional side, intelligent side. The emotional side many times gets more emotional when you're not working out, when you're not feeding your brain the right food. Anybody watching this today, if you're off your routine right now and you're not working out and you're getting crammed up in your house, just stop after this video and literally go for a walk or go for a jog. Just go for a walk. Feed your brain, and what you're going to figure out is your intelligent side gets smarter and you'll get more done. Don't try to grind through it and build bad habits like I did for years and thought I was building this killer business. And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, all right, I don't look good. I don't feel good, but you know what? I got money in the bank. What I realized was I lost a lot of opportunities of growing business because I wasn't healthy on the emotional side. So Mike, flip it back to you. On the emotional side, I know you now as a push-up king, working out. We talk about working out a lot. Have you always been that way? Did you ever fall off the bandwagon?
No. So health is wealth, and that is so true, because wealth is not just money. When you don't have anything and you're sleeping on a bench, yes, money appears to would make complete happiness. But once you accumulate a little bit of wealth, you find out money is not happiness at all. So fortunately, again, I married well. So about 2-3 years into the business, I'm working and it's 2-3 in the afternoon. I didn't eat. I go eat a cheese stick. I go eat a thing. My wife, for about 30 years now, started to pack me a lunch. She said, I'm protecting my investment. So I eat it. I come to work every day.
I like that, protecting your investment. I love that.
Yes. I come to work every day, and in my trunk with a cooler of 6 waters and a thing of, now it's changed over there, but a hummus wrap sandwich, some carrots, some tomatoes, some peeled fruit. So all my support staff are like, I want a wife, because I eat great and I eat when I want to eat, but it's pretty regularly. But also, I actually, again, the business, you used to work so much more before the internet, so much before DocuSign. So I would be out till 10 or 11 at night before scanning. I'd be out till 11 o'clock at night, finishing, guy doing a listing at 6, a listing at 7:30, between 9 and 10, I'd be running around the houses getting things signed up. I'd go back to the office and drop it off. I'd be leaving the office at 10 or 11. So I didn't work. I was family and work. And then when I was about 40, 42, I'm like, I started to get this belly. And I was a little bit healthy because I moved fast. What? Did somebody say something?
No, you're there. That was my fault.
Okay. So, and then I started to go back to the gym about 42, just to stay healthy. Now I'm so glad I did, because your metabolism changes. So yes, I already did 250 push-ups today. My commitment for the year was to do 100 push-ups a day. Thinking, okay, because my nephew was over on the holidays and he said he did 3,000 push-ups. 30,000 push-ups for the year, and I love push-ups. So I said, I want to do 100 a day. That's not 30. But now with the virus, I'm doing 250 a day. So staying healthy, it's just great endorphins. But I did get a trainer at 42 because I could afford it, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 o'clock, 45 minutes. And man, it really, because at one point at 42, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be like everybody else. I'm going to just have a big fat ass belly. Excuse me. But I thought, no, I'm not. I want to stay healthy. I want to stay in shape, and you feel so much better. You can get so much more done.
We got a lot of questions coming in. All right. So let's start firing off some questions here. All right. First off, men thought cheesesteaks were healthy. So
they are until you're about 35.
Kristen said thank you. She said Lindsay's awesome, which Cipriani. If you need that info, it's in here right now at Lindsay at ciprianiconsulting.com. Love your determination and best of luck. Does anyone have any updates regarding the testing updates? I'm very discouraged the fact that exams have been canceled 3 times since March. I do not. You still need to continue to call the testing companies and what they're going to do with you getting your licenses. Where this person's asking about their real estate license right now and what they can do. 20 years old and brand new in the industry, just joined a team as the coronavirus took on hold the world. I'm determined to use this opportunity to educate myself. I also have a new real estate. I also have single family home self-affiliated closing second. What is your advice on most efficient use of time for a brand new young agent? All right, I want to grab this one. So if you are going to be an investor and you're going to sell real estate, which I've done and Mike have done, and I've helped a lot of people do this, you have to time block those 2 businesses and separate them. Let me repeat this. If you're going to be an investor and a real estate agent, you have to time block. If you don't, you won't be successful in either thing. So for example, me buying houses, I look at my houses on Saturday. If anybody wants to talk house talk during the day, I don't talk to you that, you know that. I talk Keller Williams during the day. If you want to talk investor talk, I talk in the evening. If you want to talk personal talk, I talk to you in the evening. You have to time block it, because if you don't, you're never going to dive deep in something. Because what's going to happen is, just an example, I'm looking at Rich's face. He starts building a sales team, Investment deal comes in at 1 o'clock. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to derail him in his 1 o'clock with his team. He's going to get off track, and then he's going to try to do this investment deal. His team is going to get hurt. You need to make sure that you separate those and have it time blocked for the week, right? So Mike, in your example, right? Right now, someone brought you a real estate transaction deal, investment deal right now, okay? How have you been able to manage over here to buy real estate investments and sell real estate?
Okay, again, same thing with my business. I hire long-term, so I have one contractor 25 years, another one 10 years. So I can walk through a property and know what it's going to cost, or walk through with him in 5 minutes, know what it's going to cost to do. And then I'm going to have people that do the work for me. I'm going to say, this is what I want to do. I show up once a week. I'll walk in there. Yep. I'll be like, what are you doing? I'll be yelling, just be my de-stressing time with my guys. I love them. It's funny. He just sent me some big bills. He just said, sit down. Cause I'm like, dude, send me your bills. Cause my goal was always to buy 1 or 2 properties a year. My goal was to have, by the time I'm 50, to have 50 properties, have them paid off. But one of the benefits about investing is I have made so many people multimillionaires through investing in real estate. It is one big portion where you can get tons of repeat business. The volume we do, 200-300 are from investors that were doing yucky rehabs 15, 20 years ago, and now they're doing 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 a year. So investors are good. They will suck your time up. They will waste your time. They're not real investors. You need to identify who's a real investor, whether they're a flipper or whether they're a long-term. I love taking the average person and getting them to buy 1 property a year, because that has been the big thing that's built wealth for me. And my income never went up or down. Real estate can go down, but it's still rented out. It's the best hedge for long-term. So for my own personal, I remember in like 03, 04, after 9/11, about a year later, the market started to go crazy. And Jimmy, Margot, and I were doing all kinds of rehabs. And I remember their income went dramatically down because they were doing rehabs. So they made a lot of money off of the rehabs, but their income from business was coming down. It's like, no, that's a mistake. So yeah, you do need to time block that, Jeremy. Absolutely. But if you're in this business, especially in downtown, great opportunities for multiple business. When I call them, I can call a couple dozen people and say, I have a place for you. They trust me so much, they would buy it. And I'll just tell them. Now, I hold that responsibility big time. Many times my investors, I'm like, no, you're not buying another one right now. Let's get these together, get them under contract. Then I'm going to sell you more. So I protect them. That's been so rewarding. So you do a lot of multiple business with investors, but you have to decide, are they real? Are they fantasy? I only want this return and that deal. I say, yeah, bring that to me and I'll buy that too. Most of my investments were fair market value investments. Most of flippers and rehabbers and long-term investors are buying market values. We're just finding the differences. I can walk through and say, this one's going to cost us 20 grand to clean up. I'm going to rent it for you for 1750. And in 3-5 years, it's going to be worth a lot more, and in 10 years, it's going to be worth a lot more. So that's what, and I'm telling you, this started back from when Graduate Hospital was run down, where people bought properties from me for $60,000, $80,000, and they were scared to death. Now they're worth hundreds and hundreds. So long term, that's what I always tell people.
Yeah.
If you want to get in real estate, it's long term. There's flips. Yeah, everybody's looking for the steal. That ain't happening. You have to learn how to. So you have to know the business. Follow every inspector around. Follow your contract. When I walk into a house, I can say, you know what? We're going to change this layout. We're going to do this. We do this. This basement, you can't finish, so we'll have to do this. So it'll only be worth this. So I can tell them pretty fast how much I believe it's going to cost to renovate and how much it's going to cost to sell, almost on the fly. And then if they're newer, I'll bring my contractor in to meet them and to go through that. You have to have good support people, good contractors. Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Good questions. So what you're telling me, what you just told me was you buy real estate to build your wealth. Your job is actually selling real estate, which we know that. When I do retirement plans with people, basically I find, Mike, that the majority of their wealth is going to come from their real estate, right? Not their sales, right? The rental income and what the actual real estate is worth is where most of their income. The problem is that happy balance. And one of the questions someone just came in and says, when you were much younger, how did you have that work-life balance with your kids? I'll answer that, and I want to see what Mike says. The best decision my wife and I ever made, and I've been married for 20 years, 22 years together, is we actually set specific nights with the kids. With my kid, I have one. I have an adopted niece at this point because she's lived with us for 7 or 8 weeks now. So we're talking crazy, talk about maybe moving in together. We'll say build a big house, whatever. That being said, I only had one kid. Wednesday night was my wife's night to work. Wednesday night was my night to be with my daughter. Thursday night was my night to network. And Saturday morning was my day to look at real estate investments or prospect. So to answer the person's question who asked that is, I would time block with your significant other if you have a child together. Every Sunday you should have a meeting. It's called the weekly meeting mastermind with your family. Set the expectations. Most divorces that happen are based upon false expectations between the two people. Not all, but most. Get the expectations down on Sunday and every week be the same. Most human beings just they just want to know what they're getting into. Wednesday night's this night, Thursday night's this night, and Jeremy Bowers knows every Thursday night if he wants to go out to happy hour, he can. And every Saturday morning, he knows he can go buy houses and look at his investments. So my wife's not grinding at me and saying, where are you at? You're not around as a husband. You're a horrible husband. She knows every Saturday morning she's with Alexa. I was able to buy real estate that way and build a team by having the correct expectations. Up front, we did not. It was a train wreck. She sold medical products. I sold real estate. And it was like, who the hell's raising this kid? Like, what are we doing tonight? Like, whose responsibility is this? Oh, we got a kid. We're both like alphas. We both want to take over the world, right? That being said, what we did is we pivoted and we set it the correct expectations. And now we know what we're doing. So the person that asked that, you do the same thing in investing and same with your team is, make sure those Sunday night masterminds at dinner time. Sunday nights, most people are watching whatever shows they're watching. Before you do that, have dinner and have the expectations set. If you do it with your kid earlier on, your kid's going to respect it and they're actually going to look forward to it. Hey, Dad, Alexa will say, hey, Dad, listen, Wednesday night, can we play basketball and kickball and tennis? I have Olympics set up for us. Yeah, because she knows what she's getting into, right? It doesn't matter what age, right? So I would set expectations correctly on Sunday night was the key with us. So Mike, over the years, you sold a lot of real estate. You bought real estate. The person that asked the question is, what did you do to try to do that?
I love that question. That is the most important. One of the things, I did not want to be successful and end up divorced. Both my wife and I come from divorced families. Horrible, sad, difficult. It was one of the difficult times. It left an impression on me that I can remember today. So what we did was early on, we said, I'll work both jobs and you'll stay home and raise the children. That's the harder job, staying home and raising the children. Trust me. When I would spend the whole day, I'd be wiped out. I'd be laying on the floor. But so that was that. I would block off portion of Sundays. And in the beginning, because I was struggling the first 10 years, I worked a lot. The deal was that I would work both jobs and she would at home. But 96, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop working Saturdays. My kids are at the age, I want to go to soccer, softball, tennis, not tennis, they didn't do tennis, soccer, softball, hockey, cheerleading, all that stuff. So that was when I hired my first buyer specialist. I said, I'm not working Saturdays anymore. So I hired this person. Buyer agency had just come in. There was no teams at that point. Again, even when I had assistants, nobody even had assistants. And so I hired this. I said, I'm not working Saturdays. My wife hands me that schedule and I block it out, whether it's a school night on Tuesday night. So she would always hand me the schedules and I would not miss a function. I'm proud. I didn't miss a function at school or any extra activities. Did all kinds of Indian princesses and Indian guides and all kinds of stuff. So I did block out anything with my kids. 96, I stopped Saturdays. By 99, 2000, I stopped Sundays. Friday night, I would be home by 7, and I would not be meeting a client until Monday. Now, no one knew that. I didn't tell people, oh, I'm with my, I don't see people on the weekends. I still negotiated deals. I still communicated with people. I might be at a football game or a soccer game or a game and for 2 hours. Then I'd be in my car, because you didn't have email as much. Then I'd be in my car returning phone calls and closing deals, and then I'd be with them. So I'm still working, but that was the commitment that I made. And so I didn't miss anything. I didn't want to be divorced. My kids hate me. My kids not know me. Very, very important.
So let's add to what Mike just said. The person asked that question because I have another comment privately on it. Remember this line, it's very valuable. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Second thing is, someone else's priorities become your priorities. Someone else's priorities becomes yours. You need to decide as a business how much time you're going to put into your business, how much you're going to put into investing, and how much you're going to put into your family. I believe the third part, most human beings don't have family time blocked off. They just work. Or if they don't have a family, they don't have enough personal time put in there. Next thing you know, they turn around 3 years later and like, where's my relationship? Where's my relationship with myself, right? So the critical part, what Mike was just saying there is don't get caught up in the exact hours that he gave you a tip on. Get caught up that he actually time blocked his business and his family. That is the critical part. And you're going to time block yourself too. The next question.
We're just real quick. No, and we have time block vacation. It's going to be a family vacation the second week in July. We have our other friends down at this place. We did buy a little mountain house back in the early days so that every third weekend, this was before 96, every third weekend I would take off and be up to Poconos in this little cabin that we had so I could hang with my kids. But we still time block today. One of the key things for me to totally be removed is to take trips. So we always took our kids to conventions with us, or we just took trips and we go away. So I time block everything a lot, yeah.
And you set those up front so then you actually do it. So I have another question with someone. It's a very detailed question. And the answer to the question is they're asking, I got 12 new agents licensed on board with KW Philadelphia. What do you think of what's going to happen with the state of the market and the business and everything that's going on in coronavirus time? I'd like to talk to you about it, and then I'm going to see what Mike has to say. Here's what I've learned. Mike and I have been through downturns, correct, Mike?
Yes.
Through great.
This is my fifth.
We cannot control what the outside world does. The one thing that Mike and I have talked about a lot over the time we've been together is you only can control what you can control. Do not worry about the outside. So you need to be focused on lead gen. You need to be focused on contacts. You need to be focused on how you're impacting your people. Focus on what you can control. The data and the information that you have because of what's happening in society is important, but it's not the factor of who's going to make you who as a person, right? Your family might have been alcoholics. Your family might have abused you. Your family might have had something. They're not going to make you who you are. My grandfather was a bum. He was an alcoholic. I never talked to him in my life. He's not going to create who I am as a person. The coronavirus is not going to create me who I am as a person. The Great Depression is not going to create a person. The last downturn did not. Wealth can be built in anything. Don't get caught up in the numbers of everything in the news. Get caught up in the Mike McCann, Jeremy Bowers, anybody else who's watching this right now. Get caught up in what you can do today to take action so you can help people, and the byproduct is money, right? So Mike, in every downturn that you've had, do you feel like you've worked more or less, and how did you control it? Because in this case, you and I both know the only thing that's going to get you through a coronavirus is you and your team, right? It's not going to be what they do in the outside world. They could dump 10 billion in it. They can drop 2 billion. They're not taking away Mike McCann, the real estate team, right?
But yeah, let me just tell you what. This is the greatest business in the history of the world. Minimum entry level. We didn't have to go to 12 years of college and spend all this kind of money. Minimum entry level, yet we can make, depending on your level, more than 99.9% of the American population. You can make great income. Nobody can lay me off. Nobody. The sky has not fallen. If 6 million homes don't transfer this year in the country, 5 million homes. People are going to buy and sell. In a downturn, people need us more than ever. Also, the people who jumped in on the good times, because it grows and it gets tough, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. There have been periods of my career, and the first one I saw was the worst, where it lasted 7 years and real estate values dropped 30 to 50% for 6-7 years. And 30% of the realtors left the business. Every major firm closed up in Center City in 1990, 91. Caldwell Banker, Century 21, Remax, Historic Landmarks for Living, Merrill Lynch got out. Everything collapsed. You could have bought any home in Society Hill for under $250,000, 90 to 95. We were buying triplexes in Queen Village for 75 grand. These are properties that had sold for 200-300 before that. I saw the biggest transformation of wealth. I have friends that are worth $100 million that were buying stuff between 1990 and 1997 because nobody was touching anything. So that's on investment. What did I do? All the big shots in the 80s when it was booming got out, and Mike McCann just kept on plugging away. And then when the market came back, I went to the next level. So there's been a few times in my 33 years where I didn't make as much money that I made less than the year before, but it was still more than 95% of the American public. You have great opportunity to make great income, even in a downturn. What you need to do is the world's changed right now. You need to embrace the new technology. You need to communicate on Zoom. You need to do listing appointments on Zoom. You need to tour buyers on Zoom. You need to do open houses on Zoom. It's a great way, and it's going to make it really efficient. You're going to still show houses, but now the meetings. When I Zoom someone now, because we're all adopted, I connect with them. It used to be I had to physically meet them. Now I'm connected. They stop calling everybody else on Zillow and Trillium and Realtor.com. So to learn this business, man, if I was 20, I didn't get in, I was 27, turning 28. And it's funny, when I got in, the average agent I was so young, there was probably nobody under 40. And most of the agents were 50, 60 years old. Nobody had businesses that much. So there's great opportunity. You control your own destiny. Nobody can tell me when I can go on vacation, when I can go down the shore. And it's the best business. You just have to if you don't love it, you're not going to be super successful. You can still make a living, but you're not going to be. You have to love people. You have to love your clients. You have to become the most knowledgeable about every aspect. Back in the day before in-house title, in-house mortgage, whatever, we had to learn everything ourselves. So like I know the business from inside and out. and I can advise people. And so you have to be the most knowledgeable, and then you have to persistently go after, what am I going to do? So downturns, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm rambling, but downturns are opportunities to grow, especially when we come out of it.
So what Mike and I have been talking about, I'm going to answer another question here, is your network is your net worth, right? Your network is your net worth. Who's the 5 people you hang out with? I'm lucky because I get to hang out with these people on this call, most of you guys, on a daily basis. I get to hang out with Mike and have multiple conversations in a week. There's things that he learns from me. There's things that I learn from him. We've made each other better. I'm impressed of how him and his team operate and how they make each other better. The one thing I believe what we're all missing during this coronavirus time is the office, the culture, the interaction, and helping each other. Zoom's great. It's a vehicle, but it misses that piece of helping you in the office of growing as a person. I don't think you can ever replace that. Someone asked me this question. It says, Jeremy, a brand new person in business, transitioning from a different career, do you have any advice to make the transition as smooth as possible? If you're new or if you're experienced, it comes down to one thing. You got to take action. If you ever talk to Mike, you ever talk to any of us, talk to me, talk to our people, you got to take action right now. So if you're a new person or an experienced person, your number one focus should be your database right now. This is the perfect time to be working on your database and getting everybody in your database. Take them from Facebook, take them from cell phones, take them from Trend MLS, take them from whatever. Put them in Excel, clean it up, dump it into KW Command if you're at Keller Williams. If you're not, dump it into a database and start staying in front of your people consistently. If you're not touching 10 people a day, you're missing the boat. I challenged my brother this the other day. He's our number one referral source, Mike, in our realtor business for my wife. I said, Bryson, how many people are in your database? He's a financial advisor. He's like, XYZ. I'm like, dude, you know way more people than that. I said, just figure out getting everybody in your database. We figured it out. It would take him 6 weeks, if he focused 3 hours a day to get his people in his database. We have time on our side right now. The thing that I asked a question on Facebook the other day, I said, if there's 2 things in life you can't buy, I'll send you a Starbucks gift card. The answer is time. We cannot buy time back, right? And second is we cannot buy happiness and believing in love and things like that. You gotta feel that, you gotta understand that, the emotional side. So if you're new or you're experienced, that's the answer right there on how to build a long, profitable business. Is you gotta spend time on yourself. You gotta spend time on your family. You gotta spend time on that and focus on that. Unfortunately, what you gotta realize is many times as humans, we focus on other people's priorities and make their priorities yours, and then you lose out on some of those other things.
And you're the database, but what are you going to send to them? You know, and I get these form things from financial advisors. I can tell that everybody is sending out. I always try to connect with people. The key thing about residential real estate, it's an emotional business. Death, divorce, buying and selling a house. People rely on me and I connect with them on an emotional level, and it's very, very important. So your messages, and what I love today is Facebook's free, Instagram's free. You can become an expert. You can grow that network for free, but your image has to be who you are, and you mix it up as a person and as a professional. And if I'm a brand new agent, there's only 2 things that I know. Listen, I always underpromise agents and hope that they over-deliver. I tell people the first year or 2 is brutal in real estate. You'll be in this business a year and you look back, you're like, I didn't know anything my first year. I see people usually start to take off their 2nd or 3rd year, and then they can really go to 3rd or 4th year. I always say, treat it like it's your college education. But today, with the training and the support, you should be able to get it up faster. But what I do is I would open my store every weekend. I've been telling people this for years, is I grab open houses from people in the company and put them on my Instagram, put them on my Facebook, put them on my list. So I all of a sudden become, wow, you're in real estate, Mike? Wow, you're an expert. Look at that house you have here. Look at the house you have here. And consistently do that. And as I'm sitting open houses, I'm growing my network when people come in. And so that's one way to do it, because other than your personal database, who's going to call you? They don't know. So you have to get out there in the world. And back in the day, you know, I handed out flyers, but you can't do that in a lot of areas right now, but you can do the, in certain areas, you can do the door hangers. I used to walk up and down streets handing out flyers. I'd run them off on the copier.
Well, I guess the best way, man, over the years, me coaching, 6 Rookie of the Years we did, the number one way always has been the doors. Eventually a person's building their business off events and staying in front of their people. But, you know, today we had a packed full hour. If you have any questions, we're going to answer it. We're going to summarize up here. Number one, if you don't have an assistant, you're doing over $3 million. Mike says you need one. I say 3 to 5 million. That's 7 million range. Depends on the person, what you need. We said that. 2, you're not a good person to hire the admin. You need to have someone else do it. We recommend Lindsay. 3rd, salespeople stink at training people. Do not train your people. You need to hire another person, but you do have to think of what you need to offer them checklist-wise. We talked about the mistakes we made from an admin side. People side we talked about is don't go build a team with a whole bunch of people. Build your admin staff up first. There's 2 options, heavy admin, then people, or if you're going to do both like Mike, he's very heavy admin to people, 2 to 1 ratio. On average, I normally see 3 to 4 to 1 ratio, right, is a pretty good number to make sure it's happening and working if everybody's productive. We talked about the teams. Personal-wise, Mike and I talked about time blocking. If you notice everything he talked about, he time blocks his life on a business perspective, on a personal perspective, and on a family perspective. Up front, he had to grind it and put a ton of hours in, but he still had some family time, but he understood that his wife was at home. Mike was the one working. The harder job is at home. Like he said, I have to agree with that. Being home with the coronavirus can remind me that again real quick, is you need to have balance. And the last tip on the family stuff, guys and girls, is ladies, gentlemen, you need to make sure on Sundays you guys have expectations set for the week. Expectation, right? And then we talked about from a mistakes from building your real estate investing business. That's going to be separated from your personal business. And then we just answered some of your random questions. But if you have any other random things, it all comes back. You got to have balance to be a happy person. If you've ever been around Mike, he comes into every situation happy. And one of the reasons why I believe this very heavily, and I'm blessed to have him in my network, which is your net worth, is he looks at everything on the positive side. But what he does very, very well, that I don't know if everybody understands this, and if you do, great. If you don't, you're going to find out well now, is he just does what he does well. He doesn't try to figure out everything. He knows what he does well. Great personality, great person, great energy, great real estate knowledge, should be in front of the person. And then he hires and he invests in very good people in the back end. And what he said was a golden nugget today. The only reason why a doctor is good is they have a really good nurse and a really good secretary. So the only reason why a human being is normally balanced and looks good, everybody behind the scenes makes him a better person, which allows them to have a good life, right? Could be your wife, could be your family, could be your business. Don't try to take this all on your own. Mike and I have opportunities for you to help you with our company. We have time slots. We have these types of classes on a regular basis. If you're not getting this type of talk at your brokerage or you're not in a real estate game, you need to talk to us. So I know everybody's busy. I know Mike provided a lot of—
One second, Joe, let me just say one thing. If you're on a team, because we didn't talk about that much, if you're on a team, you need to learn how to use the resources of that team. So many on my team are like, oh, I didn't want to bother the assistant. They're busy, or I didn't want to use you, Mike, you're busy. No, 1 and 1 is 3. You need to use that leverage. So if you're on a team, you need to learn how to work the support, learn how to get the help from the other agents and from the team leader. And then, of course, listen, I've been in, this is my 5th downturn. I've never seen a company do what this company is doing. The reaching out, the support from the top on down to all out. It is unprecedented. And again, I sound like the old guy. Like, you don't know how good you got it till you came from a different place, man. So the support here is the one thing about Keller is it's the win-win or go home. Everybody will support. Nobody's competitors. Everybody wants everyone to grow. I will help anybody support them. I don't, again, we're not competitors. There's plenty of business for all of us. The more professional we are, the better we are. But slow, steady, just do it. Don't try to do everything today. Pick 1 or 2 or 3 things and do that. And once you do that well, then you can do something else.
So can you guys give us a thumbs up or a round of applause on mute for Mike helping us out today?
We don't need a round of applause. Love you guys. My mom taught me how to smile and be happy all the time. I can't say that I designed that, man. She loved everyone. That's all my mom was about, love, man. So,
we miss all you guys. It's good to see some of your faces on Zoom today, but you can't put a price tag of seeing you guys in person. So that part of our life is missing. We can't wait to see you guys in the office. And if you're not with us, you want to contact us, you can just look us up at the $1 Billion Office, or my contact information's on your Jeremy Bowers or Mike McCann. Google us, you'll find us. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. We got more.
Thanks. Have a great day.